It's the new OGs. The new OGs is a State Madison production and is brought to you by Solar Masters. Look, Illinois is changing how people get their electricity, and Solar Masters is helping homeowners in Illinois take advantage of a program that lets them get solar power at no cost. If you're a single-family homeowner in the state of Illinois, you can lower your electric bill, raise the value of your home, and do something good for the environment without paying a single dollar out of your pocket to do so. In fact, Solar Masters can only work with you if they can save you money. Solar Masters is a minority-owned company. It's black-owned. It's in Illinois. It's a SunPower dealer, an American panel maker with over 30 years of solar experience. And for the end of 2020, they're also giving a $1,000 cash rebate to anyone who goes solar. They even have a referral program that pays out as much as $500 per referral.
Bobby!
Yes, sir.
Bobby, wait a minute.
Yes, sir.
You mean to tell me
Yeah.
these people can save money on their electricity?
You're going to save money on your electric bill.
They can help the environment.
They can actually help the environment.
And it's going to make their house worth more money.
You are on the mushroom tea already, but yes.
And they might get $1,000.
And if you don't own a home and you refer somebody who does, you get $500 when they go solar.
Man, that's better than ending fascism with record voter turnout. That's fucking amazing, man.
It is as good as that, at least. So if you're trying to find out some more information, get yourself over to www.gosolarmasters.com and get in contact for a free consultation. Order a first one when you know. We are also brought to you by People of Comedy. That is a network that we are on right now. That is James Webb that you hear on the boards. He is our producer here. Make sure you go to People of Comedy. You can find them at People of Comedy Network on Instagram, at People of Comedy on Twitter. Go to their Facebook page, go to their YouTube page. They've got live shows. They got tons of podcasts. They do a bunch of the live show recordings in Chicago. A lot of the stand-up specials that you're seeing coming out. I think we got a new one coming out from Bobby Condon here soon, don't we?
December 1st.
Right,
Bobby Condon's
December 1st.
debut album, Greatest Hits, comes out on all platforms. Stay tuned for that.
Produced by People of Comedy, Put 'em Over Productions, and State Madison. Hey, yeah, that's pretty dope. So we're super excited about that. Make sure you get there and check them out. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the longest week ever.
Man.
This Tuesday is a motherfucker, right?
Hey, Steve Kornacki feels like a personal friend right now. Like I feel like if I saw Steve Kornacki walking down the street, I'd be like, Steve, what's up, my dude?
I feel like I gotta get homie a Christmas card or something, you know what
I
mean?
Yeah.
Ask him what he celebrates and get him one of those, you know. He went to college with Leah Berman.
Word?
Yeah, he and Leah Berman she said they had some classes together.
Damn, that's crazy. Hey, no offense to present company, but you should have told me that before the show. We'd have Leah Berman on this motherfucker. I want some Steve Kornacki stories.
Well, we'll talk about. We'll maybe bring her on next week. She actually has a podcast on the network called Parental Advisory. You should check that out for sure if you don't know who Leah Berman is. But joining us today, we have Clark Jones on the podcast. Clark Jones and what is that? Is that a classic Black Dude production sweatshirt you got on there, Clark? What you got? What you rocking today, man?
The brand is Classic Black Customs.
Classic Black Customs is the brand.
As an offshoot, Classic Black Dude is the podcast, but like all the custom clothing that I'm doing and shoes, and I have a 3D printer, so all that is under the Classic Black Customs umbrella.
That's dope, man. What kind of shoe work are you doing? You making shoes?
I made a custom pair. I customized a pair of ID0 Derrick Roses for my brother who passed away in September. He went to
Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, man. That don't even seem like 2 months ago, but
yeah.
He went to Simeon, loved his time at Simeon, and the ID0 had the Simeon colors that Derrick Rose put out. So I put his name on the back and I drew a picture of him and put it on the side. But I do recoloring. I do, I put letters, whatever people need, I find a way to make it.
Yeah. Do they leave you to your own devices with it, or are they just like, hey man, fuck my shit up, fam, or
it depends on what people want. Like with this thing I'm doing with Don't Be Mad At, I'm saying whatever people want on it is hoodies, and then I put the Jordan 11 on there. But I'm like, whatever shoe you want, if I could do it, I'll do it.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Whatever you want. I have to find a way to put it on there. But some people, like with these Don't Be Mad at Morehouse, a lot of people just came in like, yeah, I want that. Or they say, I want Don't Be Mad at Spellman. Or, my man, it's going to be the new so-and-so versus everybody wage.
Yeah.
So how we get Anthony Anderson in a Don't Be Mad at sweater? Because that's what's going to make it pop. We get you on Blackish. Get you on Blackish or Black as Fuck, one of the two.
I know a couple famous comedians.
Yeah, you might know a couple guys. Why it's got to be Anthony Anderson? Why can't?
Hey, no, I'm sorry. That's where I go.
I know, like,
that's like my number one source for sweater game.
Homie, we got like 4 niggas that we just did comedy with like 2 years ago that's on TV right now.
XL just sort of picked his body type.
Right. XL was like, who do I know that might have a body like mine that could wear a sweatshirt that would make me want to buy it?
Yeah. We know Chris Red personally. Like we know a lot of people. Between the 4 of us, we know a lot of people.
We might know 1 or 2 people who might put that sweatshirt on while they're on television.
James Webb knows.
That comment was completely made with me not having an understanding and you guys not. That Anthony Anderson's sweater game is insane.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I like there's websites dedicated to like following what he wears on Blackish.
I still got this feeling that like you have a strong dedication to this for particular reasons.
Okay, so what if I do, man? Damn, come on.
Make Anthony Anderson happen. Stop it.
Hey, I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I know way more about Vin Diesel than I should too. Okay, let's just.
That's fair.
He's aspirational to me, man.
Yeah. You think I don't know what shoe size Hannibal wears?
Right. Dude, I saw did you see Rosario Dawson post a picture with Cory Booker after he re-won his seat? I was like, man, all I had to do was become a senator and I'd have been her type.
You've been there, man.
Looks like I got the look. I'm in.
You got the look and the political views.
Did y'all see?
I don't have the faith.
Did y'all see that him and RuPaul are related or cousins?
Really?
I gotta hear word.
It's the most unshocking thing I think I've seen.
I disagree because Cory Booker has so much shit going for him that he should be the coolest motherfucker in the Senate. And I think Mitt Romney might be the only more nerdy nigga than him. He's a former football star. He's intelligent. He went to Stanford. He's a senator. He's a hero. This motherfucker rescued people from fires. And when he talks, I fall asleep mid-sentence every rip.
You see this face, man? That's the dude. I'm from the streets. And he did the Obama man. Me and Bobby had a good laugh about that. Like, nobody from the streets says it.
No. That's like last week we were talking about. We had Dwayne Murphy Jr. on last week, and we were talking about the phony protesters who came out with backwards hats on, and we were like, "Look, man, you can't."
Talking about Black Lives Matter, white dudes with backwards hats on. I'm like, you don't know any black people. You don't know any black because if you hung out with brothers, they wouldn't let you wear a hat like that.
Right.
This is how I know police have a maximum IQ, because you could see the handcuff imprints in their back pockets. Through their stonewashed jeans, you could see like the etchings of the handcuffs. They're like, yeah, man, we here for change.
I'm not sure if you guys saw Sean King's post yesterday, but they literally somebody found a cop like in all Antifa gear, head to toe, black mask, everything. And they like caught him, and he was standing there for like 3 minutes denying it until he finally flashed his badge at the fucking camera, dude. They have no fucking idea what they're doing.
There ain't no Antifa merch, man. Like
no.
Antifa,
dude. That's that. Hey, that's the lick.
Listen,
start a brand of Antifa gear.
If you see somebody in a "Don't Be Mad at Antifa" hoodie, that ain't me, bro.
Right.
Shit.
You didn't do that one?
I think that might be my order, nigga. I was sitting here trying to think what I wanted to "Don't Be Mad at." That might be it.
But yeah, actually, I kind of want to do that though.
I might need a couple of them, man. I was telling these guys earlier. I go, I live with like a young white chick, right? Like she's in her early 30s, and like she was like 5 years ago. She's like 5 years ago. We were watching Spike Lee movies, and I was like, why are they throwing garbage cans through the window? And she goes, and today I'm like, if this don't go right, we burning all this shit down.
The Lincoln Park New Balance store, we got to get that out the way.
Yeah, that's number one. The one.
Still in business. In LA, there's a Von Dutch shop still thriving. Who's buying this shit?
Right. How is Von? That's got to be a front. At some point, you a front for.
Dude, it's so
Nah, man. Look, you guys know those little bracelets that they have the ads for every Valentine's Day? You get your wife a bracelet, it says some shit about her or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, how much you think those things cost?
Like to make or to sell?
To sell. Like if you told me the shit costs more than $50,
right,
I'd have laughed at you.
They sell them shits for like $500 unless they got jewels.
Nah, man, they got something for like 5 G's. The first spot they hit in Naperville when they were doing the looting out here was with that fucking shop. Like the I can't think of what it's called, whatever that bracelet shit is.
Zales?
Huh? Nah, it's Zales. It does a specific, that bracelet, that charm shit has a name.
You see Walmart, they don't sell jewelry no more. Or is that just
no?
They got guns still.
They still got guns, but the jewelry
they put their guns up for the election though.
Yeah.
Which says so much, man. That's so fucked up. Y'all gonna put y'all guns up for this week because hey, even we see it.
Yeah.
Even we recognize how fucked up this is.
But they put it back. They took it down because something that was supposed to happen last week. And then for the election, they brought him back. It's a cold game, man. It's a cold game.
Yeah.
I mean, they caught a couple cats last night.
Yeah, outside of the spot in Philadelphia, they caught some armed dudes that are ready to roll.
Went to the Philadelphia Convention Center where they're doing the counting.
A family came from Virginia. It was like a mom, a husband, and 2 kids. Like,
wait, that's who had the guns?
That's who had the guns?
That's who was coming to I don't know, kill everybody in.
Hey man, the dude that killed people in Kenosha, his mom drove him home. Hey. What was the car ride like? Did we ever talk about that? What was the car ride home like? Did you have fun being a soldier today, son? Mom, I got to kill 3 people.
I mean, there's some shit on the show The Titans where there's like a family who are killers, but they're not like a real family. They're just like they're like clone people. Like you started like that shit makes me think that shit is real because who's like Sally, Johnny get washed up. We got to go off to Philly and murder everybody.
We got to go someplace that didn't ask us to come there.
That shit is wild.
You love police and feel like they're not doing a good enough job.
That you got to show up.
You know what? I blame Nicolas Cage for all this shit because all these motherfuckers think they got to be the hero that saves America. They got to drive across country and fucking, fight and be the fucking gun-toting hero. Like, nigga, why you got to come from Virginia? You don't think there's nobody in Philadelphia handling that? You don't think there's lawyers that's handling that? What the fuck are you going to do?
Privilege is having the time, man.
Right?
Privilege is having time.
Yeah.
And that's across the race. That's any race.
Yeah. I mean, to afford to get in your car and drive across state lines to go do some shit, it's like, man.
You got time and energy for that? Like,
yeah.
By the way,
buying the gas and everything.
I don't know if you heard. I don't know if you guys just read the story or heard it. I saw it on TV. That's why I didn't know the details because I just saw that they just talked about the headline part of it on TV. But I did hear this. They talked about some of the weapons that the people had. And they said the man had a concealed weapon, a concealed 40 caliber weapon on him, but he had a concealed weapon permit in Virginia. Hey, that's irrelevant, motherfucker. They were in Pennsylvania. Concealed weapons permits don't work like that unless you're an agent.
So like that's one of the big failings of media though, is not being honest about that shit.
That's one of the motherfucking things that if he was black, they'd have listed all that shit out in detail and we'd have saw their face.
Yeah.
Media is the only, and I keep it funky, man. Like media is the only thing that I agree with Trump on. That's the only thing I'll give him. It is foo shit.
It is. It is.
I don't even think the votes have to be extended out this far, but like these motherfuckers making cash over fist with each day because people are
100% agree.
Tuned in all the fucking time.
Yeah. I think the thing right now that we struggle with is what is the media even? You know what I mean? Like there's like one of the things they exposed over these last couple of weeks, one of the things that was talked about is how there's a bunch of like right-wing set up news stations and newspapers that have like official sounding names, but all they are sites that like trumpet right wing shit, right? So you got shit that looks like, Baltimore Times. It's not it's not. Their whole goal is to not be like a genuine news source. Their whole goal is to like look like real news, but spit out shit that makes you think like this is the viewpoint. So like,
hold up, just real quick. The Baltimore Times isn't a real thing.
I'm using it as an example.
It's
a hype, but like similar to that though. You know what I mean? Like the Wichita Bee or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Like they give these names.
Whoever says the shit that you agree with, that's what you posting.
Right. They give you these, but like, it's one thing to like seek out journalistic integrity, right? Like these are the sources. We don't use adjectives about people that like obviously show a bet by the author. We make sure we've corroborated stories. We've got valuable sources. We're not like using headlines that are meant to, but because everything is all about money now, like what gets paid is the clicks. So like you got to have the right title, you got to have the right things in there, you got to have the right. So when people go searching on Twitter for this or whatever, they can find your shit easier. And that takes away from the integrity of the story in the first place. So like
it's not. I love the shade that Twitter does when you want to retweet an article. No, wait, do you want to read this first?
Yeah. I was just about to talk about that.
Wait. Did you want to even take a look at this for more?
Right. But at the same time,
they did that to me, and I opened the article, I read the first paragraph and like skimmed like the rest. Maybe they just like, nigga, you didn't read that fast, because I came back and then hit retweet because I did the due diligence real quickly. Does it say what I think it says? Yes, it does. Retweet. Hey, you want to read that? I think I did read. Fuck you. You questioning my reading ability.
That said about media though. Like. I cringe a little bit at that because there is a need to have some people that you find that you go, oh, the stories these journalists are telling are accurate or appropriate or actually about what's going on, right? Like, even what you're choosing to focus on with your stories matters. Part of like for me, the big problem.
Washington Post ain't doing clickbait.
Well, like the big problem with MSNBC and CNN for me is that the stories they decide to pick up with and spend a 10-minute segment on are not necessarily the actual, and they may be telling an honest story and creating an honest conversation about whatever the fuck, but like it's not what we should actually be spending that 10-minute segment on. And that's where I kind of run into problems. That's my main issue with a lot of those places, like how they spend that time.
We talked about like my favorite person in the media is Rachel Maddow, and even she.
Really? Why?
Because I like the way she presents her case. She presents the case. She opens up with where she's coming from, and then she gives you the here it is. This is how it all connects. I think she does very good investigative reporting.
I appreciate everything from the performative standpoint. As a comedian, as a stand-up comedian, I'm looking. That's my lens because I don't know what's real and what's not, except for shit that I saw myself. So like from a I asked why, because I'm just like, what is it about her performance, her rollout, her presentation of it that, because that's all we got, right?
Right.
I mean, like I said, I think she does really good. Like she was the first person and the only person for a long time on Flint. And she's done that multiple times. She was the first person on this Trump shit. Like she knew about Russia before anybody was talking about Russia. She's the reason why, if you can go back a year ago, this is November. If you go back a year ago, we talk about coronavirus in like November, December. It was because fucking Rachel Maddow. Yeah. Like, so that's why I like her because, yes, there's theater and there's obviously point of view being presented. And I also happen to agree politically with much of her point of view. But she also backs her shit up. But like, she doesn't just go on something and say and shoot this point of view without showing, hey, this is where I got this from. This is what I think. And these are the things that I'm using to back it up, which is far more than I say for most people who do the exact same thing she does.
It's sad what happened to Chris Matthews because I loved his presentation. Yeah. But he's like, I would love to see him just, oh boy, what's happening in Georgia?
I wish he had a podcast. He has the greatest dip in history. Like,
I mean,
tell nobody 5 minutes in, hey, I'm out. This is it.
You're just like, you know what? I'm ready to go. Anyway.
There's nobody who's on TV really that I'm a big that like there's no host on any main news show that I like because I'll turn that shit off and I'd rather listen to somebody like Sarah Kendzior on like Gaslit Nation or somebody off of Deep State Radio or somebody off of Skullduggery or James Yates Sexton on like the Muckrake Pot. Like that shit is like I'd rather hear somebody who's actually because like Matt, she does investigative, but there's a whole team of people at the network who are putting shit together, and then she is a journalist who like compiles a story that she tells.
I'm talking about okay, even if it's a team of people who do the work.
Sure, she's got a good team.
Like the show.
Well, she got like, yeah. I get that.
Like I'm saying, nobody knew about Flint. She was on Flint like months before people were talking about Flint.
For her setup, she does it well. She does what she does well.
Right.
But she's not in the field. Like she's not field research.
Yeah, my struggle is with MSNBC and CNN as apparatuses. Like that's where my issue is. It's like I watch them. I mean, I've thrown Fox News on a couple times the last couple of days too because I feel like I'm competent enough now to know the ownership structure to be like, all right, remember that there's a level of this that is just
this
like
is Comcast talking.
we making money, right? Like there's a level.
Everybody get paid. Right? Everybody get paid.
There's a level of CNN where I'm like, oh yeah, this is run by the same dude who produced The Apprentice and hired Donald Trump for that in the first place. So let me remember that part of this is like they need him a little bit, you know.
It's like I said, man. It's across the board, just different ways. But CNN had one headline that was like. Yang's wife contracts coronavirus. That was the headline at first, but it was like one of her professors caught it and she saw him recently. And it was just like, wait, no, it was like she's exposed to coronavirus. And you know what I'm saying? The clickbait part of it.
Right. Yeah.
We click.
I mean, one of my struggles, there's a producer who left MSNBC recently and she wrote a Medium article where she was talking about how a lot of their show is driven by like what happens to be hot on Twitter that day. And that's where my issue is because that's not necessarily what the news is, right? Like the shit that just happens to be in the search section, you know what I mean? Like the trending on Twitter is not necessarily where the actual problems need to be stuck. And they also like those channels, all those networks continue to put people on who like because like Jason Miller ends up on TV and I know he's an advisor for Trump or whatever, but homie tried to trick his mistress into taking abortion pills because he was married to someone else who was going to have his kid and now he's got 2 kids and like they just put him on TV to talk about how he's pro-life, you know what I mean? And like or push that agenda. And that shit for me is like, nah, you got to give me a different person. We're not going to give this guy because you get paid for being on for that shit. Like, nah.
Hey, I agree with you, man. Fucking Bob
like, why
Woodward.
Is Rick Santorum on TV? Why is Bob
Woodward on TV playing tapes of shit that he had 9 months ago and could have saved us all?
Rick Santorum just like something about when he says things. He has that smug, punchable face.
I'm mad about Rick. I'm mad. I had to bring up Rick Santorum because literally I got a 12-hour ban on Twitter. Because on the night of the election early on, he was talking about voter fraud in Pennsylvania, right? He's pitching this idea that there might be we got to be careful because there's a lot of fraud going on. And then later on the night after Trump spoke and tried to claim them states, the first time he tried to do that shit, he was on TV being like, that is horrendous. I can't believe he would try and claim. And so I tweeted that Van Jones should get up and pop him in the head. I was like, Van Jones needs to get up and pop Rick Santorum in the head for being so two-faced right now and claiming one thing and then clutching his pearls. And then like about an hour later, I got hit with the 12-hour ban.
On both sides, that'll get you shot in Chicago, man.
Twitter was like, nah, dog, you gotta sit this one out for a little while, homie.
King 63rd and King Drive playing both sides, bro. That'll get you popped.
Speaking of which, you're from Chicago originally. You're living out in LA now.
I'm everywhere.
You're everywhere. You started in Chicago. You moved to New York for a while. You had an amazing like mic show that started in Chicago with 2 black dudes and a microphone. Kenny DeForest jumped in when you were in New York, and now you're out in California. How's all the transition around, man? How's the world treating you? I know we're all locked down with this comedy show. We've been asking comics when they come on, like how they've been dealing with the pandemic and.
I mean, this whole year has been just this, you know, it's one thing I need to gradually go into things a lot of times, but This year's just been about shit just snatched from me. You know, I had my mom snatched from me. I had my stepmother snatched from me. My brother was snatched from me. Even comedy. All these things that people coping mechanisms. And that's what Corona just snatched. Like people maybe you didn't need therapy before because you dealt with it by just going out and hanging out with people. And that was just your way of keeping shit on the steady. But like logically, that was snatched from them, except people who just saying, fuck it, I'll break the rule. People just like, well, I got the right to die if I want to. And that's
Right.
fool fuck, man. Like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah.
But, and I used to just look at that like, oh, no, I used to judge that, but I'm like, no, really people, if you don't take your medicine, whatever that medicine is, you're going to die anyway.
Right.
You're going to
Yeah.
die. So their medicine is just being able to go out every Friday after work because people still got to work. Now, am I condoning it? No, but I understand.
Right. Yeah, I get that. I mean, I have evolved. Early on, I had an issue with it because I was like, come on, man, you can't chill in the crib for like 2 weeks. 2 weeks, you can't give me 2 weeks in the crib. Yeah. And then like months later, it's like, yeah, even I, and I've been, these guys will tell you, I've been a homebody. Like I've been, and I'm usually out like my regular gig, I'm usually on the road every day, driving. I put 40,000 miles on my car last year. Like I'm out, you know what I mean? And so like I have been out to get groceries and I've seen like 3 cats in person in the last 8 months. Like it's been from the crib.
Thing is, like you talking about, I've been in comedy, 12 years, almost 13. And I put in my 10,000, right?
Right.
I'm an expert, but I put in enough time to develop a serious addiction to instant feedback.
Right.
So shit, and any addiction strong enough, no matter what it is, that shit hit you when you had the withdrawals. Like I was, I was booked on shows right before the mayor, closed everything down, and that was just like fuck, like you know what I'm saying? Like what the fuck? How am I gonna get to know how people feel about some shit I just did? And that's when I started making more clothes again because I need that.
Right.
I ain't ashamed to admit it. Like I gotta know right away that how people feel about some shit I made.
Have you tried Zoom shows?
I've done Zoom shows. Zoom shows are just like working out material, and it's not stand up.
Yeah, right. I feel like Zoom is like if you got a real bad coke habit and somebody offer you meth, like you do that shit, but it's not your drug of choice.
It's more like Adderall. Meth would be a different move.
Okay, Adderall. Okay, I don't know shit about meth.
Going from coke to meth is like going from like doing a stand-up show to doing a theater. You want to snort Ritalin? That's more like doing a Zoom show. That's
cool. It's just some fucking cold brew. That's all the fuck a Zoom show is.
Yeah. Snorting cold brew is what it's more.
Just crushed up coffee beans.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, that's the same thing too. Like I've been spending a lot more time learning how editing works and shit like that. Now that I'm in the crib, it's like, yeah, I can make clips every week. I'll do a clip from a show every week now because
it's tough,
trying to find different ways,
Have you seen? Hey man, glad you're having fun on the show, Clark.
No, you know what? what this heat in Chicago is like when it's sunny out and all that. And I was moving around a lot today. My bad. I love the show. I'm just like,
hey man, I learned a long time ago that yawns are caused from low blood pressure, not necessarily tiredness, which is why I didn't address it.
Thank you.
Or not from being bored. You know what I mean? It's just if your blood pressure gets low enough, you'll yawn sometimes.
That's all. Bobby are smart. And he just diagnosed me with some shit I wasn't even concerned with. But
X is drinking fucking tea right now. So who the fuck knows what's going on? He's already getting glass-eyed.
I'm okay. The lights aren't singing to me yet, so I'm okay.
Tell me about the podcast a little bit, man, because I know, I started listening to your podcast early, and I'm a big fan of Classic Black Dude. You have some great guests on there. Tell me about what kind of sparked that, because I know it started off as like an online zine and then kind of turned into a podcast. And
it started with just I went to DePaul for journalism grad school, and so I'm a media dude, and I was just like, that's why it took me so long to start a podcast, because I was just like, I actually went to school for this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I actually put however many years into, like, people like, oh, podcasts are just news and being funny. And like, I put the work in for it. So I put all these parameters of like, I can't do it yet. It ain't ready. It ain't ready. Well, other motherfuckers like, I ain't never did it. I'll just try it. But it took me a long time to even come up with a podcast title. I was like, oh, why don't I just do the thing that I've already started to work on? And it really, the energy of the show is, it came from a Pusha T line. Who else could put the hipsters with fellas and thugs and paint a perfect picture of what selling it does? That's where the seed was planted, because I know all these different people from different walks of life.
Right.
Like, actually from the south side of Chicago. I went to school in Atlanta. I went to grad school. Like, I went to high school on the west side. Like, I'm never
People still like you through all those things, and so
that's what, yeah, somehow like, I'm just trying to like acquire as many life experiences from people. I taught in East New York. I taught on the west side of Chicago. I lived in East LA. Like, all these different places, I just bring it back to the podcast and different types of people I met.
Yeah. I mean, and your Morehouse crew is kind of deep. Like,
and Spelman.
Huh?
Yeah, your Morehouse and Spelman crew are both.
You know what I'm saying, Spelman, man. Black. Then you look at black colleges, period. Like, I don't know how. It's mostly just from like, nobody told me come to New York. Nobody told me come to LA. But LA was the first place where I had a goal in comedy, and it happened.
Cool. What was that?
So I went out there like, I want to write on a TV show. That was my goal when I went out there. And don't get me wrong, a lot of great shit happened in Chicago and New York, but LA was the first place that was like, all right, this thing you setting out to get, here you go. So
the show was?
The show is called Run the World, and they're filming it right now. We shot the first season. I mean, we wrote the first season.
Nice.
Brisha Webb is on it, and it's gonna be on Stars.
That's dope, man.
Talk, my man.
That's dope. Congratulations, man. Yeah, that's awesome.
Dope. That's Barry in the league. We should open with that shit. I apologize for not doing my investigative reporting and knowing that already, man. I knew you did dope shit. I did not know about this. This is very awesome.
It's hard if people can't just click on their remote and find it yet. But when it come out, it's gonna be crazy.
Is Stars kind of pushing a comedy thing now? I know they've started to put some specials on there. They've had some comedies on there now. I say Stars is heavy into the black. And with black, it's going to be comedy. Right. Yeah. There's only so much power, and then you got to get to comedy.
Even on the drama, when they hit Twitter, when they hit Black Twitter, when they hit
right.
comedy's going to be involved. Like, this is a serious ass show about terminal cancer. He's like, here come dialysis body or whatever. By the time they get to the memes, comedy's gonna be involved one way or the other. So, that's just a part of the thing. And not New Line, but the production company behind a lot of these shows have invested in like black cinema and black TV a lot.
It's good. Then you're working in a good spot, man. It's good to hear, because those are the things I think that get underreported or underrepresented or not even put in front of people sometimes when they're looking at where they're going to spend their dollars or what they're going to, because everything's streaming now, right? So it's like, well, where are you going to spend your $5 a month extra on some outside of your regular plan,
Chicago fucking up my cable bill right now because I got to get Stars. Because all these niggas gonna be on Stars.
Take James Webb password, man. He got all
James gotta get that.
Either get the password or just steal his CPU, man. All the passwords are on there.
Speaking of James, where are we on the count? Has there been any updates in the it is election day if you're joining us live, or if you're listening, it's election day.
So we're still holding a pretty good lead in Nevada. Nothing's really changed since early afternoon. We have a 1.6% lead in Nevada. We're at a 0.2% lead in Pennsylvania. And we are ahead by a little over 4,000 in Georgia. So we got this in the bag, bro. I'm confident.
Yo, real quick, I would like to say the only reason the networks aren't calling this is because Trump is being such a bitch and not conceding. Like, they should be calling Biden president-elect already. And Trump's having a bitch moment and not conceding, and it's bullshit.
Well, there's also the unknown of like, what type of lame duck is he gonna be?
My Twitter name is Trump is gonna quit and run, and I really believe that's what's gonna happen. I don't know if he's gonna make it to January. Can you really see him being gracious and doing like the exchange and sitting in the White House with Biden and Kamala?
So I hate to break in, actually. There was a story that just broke that stated that Trump said he would not concede if Biden declared victory. So
that's why, like, you know, this dude's built up. He has spent 5 years shitting on the media. So like, there's no way if you're CNN or MSNBC, you're going to give him like, I mean, that's like, you tossing alley oops, baby. You throwing it up there for him. If you got,
nobody wants to do the Dewey beats Truman.
They want to make sure they are locked and loaded. That's why they were even behind the AP. AP called Arizona like 2-3 days ago.
Yeah, Fox had even called it.
Yeah.
He's going to lose.
Clark, I mean, for me, I feel like being black means I've always been a little political. Do you feel like you've kind of been more political lately? Do you feel like you gave much of a fuck before, and then, you know, other than like personal well-being, or
see, like it's levels in different areas to it. So like, there's like the mental part, and then there's the emotional part of it. So like, mentally, it's like the more mentally I'm into it, the less emotional I am about it, which I would prefer, because I jokes about things that I'm heady on.
Right.
Like, when I get emotional about it, I'm not funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, and so I would say right now I'm more of in the heady space, because like, I'm tapped out on emotions.
Right. Yeah.
I'm really like tapped out on like where I expend emotional energy. And, you know, from that mentality, I just like minorities, and I hate to use that word. I hate that word. But black people, anybody going through it, we got to stop monopolizing stress and monopolizing pain and suffering. You know, does it exist? Yes. But like, this idea where we just hoard angst,
right,
as an identity, like, don't cheat a smile if you happy.
Right. Right.
Because you don't know when that next one coming.
Yeah.
I ain't saying like be oblivious to injustices, but like I was saying before, like, you know, I worked with the minister, and you know, he spit fire and brimstone, but that dude smile all the time. He don't cheat. He plays violin. You know what I'm saying? When it's time for violin time, he ain't thinking about all that other stuff. We just like, man, all this shit just kill us early.
Right. Yeah, so, the extra stress doesn't help.
Yeah, like, don't. But it's like, we've just said like, oh, unless you're just mad at something, then you're not being active in politics, or you're not being active, or you sleep, or you need to wake up. Motherfuckers be waking you up. Okay, I'm woke now. What's the plan? Oh, I just wanted to wake you up. Well, what we gonna do now? Oh, we gotta wake some more people up. And then what we gonna do? We just gonna be everybody's gonna be as miserable as me. That's really what I want.
Yeah, I would just like to more people be angry about some shit, but we ain't gonna go nowhere.
Find something that's gonna add to the stress that you already got, please. And don't nothing about being happy.
Do you feel that way about like younger people who are active but like aren't actually participating in the technical political part of the process? Like young people who are.
I love whatever generation it is, the 18 and 24 right now, because they make up their mind something is wrong and they stay on it. It's like, yo, Kanye got kicked out of a BLM rally, and they was able to sniff that shit out early, and they were like, get the fuck out of here with your goofy ass.
Wow.
There was no celebrity part. Oh, but they're like, no, we on business. Yeah. And you fool. So get out. You only came out here for a photo opportunity. And so they stand on it. They stand on it against homophobia. Homophobia, it's like it did when we was in high school.
That's some 50-year-old and up shit that like for black people 50 and up, that's a problem.
I dip a little bit lower than that. I say 35 and up.
Yeah, I try to be kind.
Nah.
My generation is included in that. But like,
yeah, our generation's in
they
there.
don't stand for it. They don't stand for it at all. And it's like not even like, oh well, if you have enough money or if you have enough celebrity, then we'll let it slide. It's like we ain't going on that, bro.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. You know, my concern is like one of the things that happened, obviously, like in the primary elections, there's a lot of push from obviously young people about a lot of progressive issues, but at the time of the primary elections, there wasn't a lot of push for actual appearance at the polls, and the concern is in the carryover from like just like you said, people getting mad, but then like not having a real plan and just like not having a final move. You know what I mean?
I don't know if it's intentional or not, but you can't look at what's happened in the past week and be like, oh, voting don't do shit.
Right.
Because I was in that mindset.
Yeah.
Even 2 days ago, I was like, oh, well, it's another thing. I'm always going to vote, but I was like, yeah, you know, in private conversations, I'm like, man, but like, yo, a Republican losing Georgia is proof positive. That's all.
Georgia and Arizona, G.
Arizona
wouldn't even. Arizona had to get forced to do Martin Luther King's birthday, dude. And now these motherfuckers is blue.
That's fair, but like, but two things. One, you know, fucking John McCain is like they saint, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that Trump came at him so hard, they was like, oh, this is easy. Like, I want to know for each state who's their person.
Right. What got you?
Stacey Abrams in Atlanta. Everybody's like, y'all did Stacey wrong. Fuck that.
There's two things in Atlanta because Stacey, for one, yeah, when you talk about unsung heroes, like Stacey Abrams is.
Oh, she gonna get sung.
What did she do?
She
posting, but I don't know exactly what she did.
She was involved in getting
800,000
she registered like 800,000 people who previously had not been able to vote to be able to vote in Georgia for this election. So basically almost 1 million voters she got out in this election. She turned out.
And got them to go to the polls.
Which is like if homie loses, obviously it's because Stacey Abrams put in real yeoman's work.
I
you know what I mean?
don't remember what her organization is called, and I feel bad for it that the shit's kicking in. But Vote America or some shit like that. But her organization was nationwide, but specifically in Georgia, she got 800,000 Georgians registered. And she's definitely getting the cabinet position if she doesn't. I think she's going to run for governor again, but cabinet position she wants, she's probably going to get at least a nod for it.
What's more important is that, like, you know, people lose elections, they disappear, right? Or they get caught up in a hotel room or something. You know what I mean? Like, that's what happens when you lose elections usually. And she didn't only lose an election, like, she lost to the guy who is in charge of the vote count of the election for governor in Georgia. She lost to the guy. He recused himself, but still, man, you know what the fuck? He like, oh, he didn't recuse himself. My bad.
He refused to.
Yeah. Refused to recuse himself, and so she lost the governorship, and so she had every right to go like slink away or disappear or just become she could have gone for the dough. They'd have put her on CNN every day and paid her fat money, and she'd make millions, and she'd be the new, you know what I mean? She'd be, you know, she'd have a gig forever. But instead, she decided she was just gonna put her head down and work. She pushed away all that VP talk. She pushed away all that run for a Senate talk. She's like, I'm just trying to get motherfuckers to vote. And
Kemp is trash.
Yeah, straight trash.
Who's worse?
Sorry to break in again. We do have an update. The first news outlet to call the race, Business Insider, has called the race for Joe Biden at 274 votes. So
they're giving in Pennsylvania.
Thing, man.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Insiders, that's a direct shot at Trump. Them motherfuckers like, hey, let us do it. We know he's looking at our shit.
I think
that Stacey Abrams' organization is Fair Fight Action.
Thank you.
Fair Fight Action. Yeah. And I also think, you know, that's also the state that John Lewis is from. And, you know, Trump has spent more than a lot of time when John Lewis was alive telling me he had to go back and deal with his own district and fix his problems there, and shit on John, you know, was disrespectful of John Lewis in death. And there are a lot of people that love John Lewis in Georgia, man. There's a lot.
One of the memes that I got was John Lewis dancing to "I'm Happy," the Pharrell joint, and that, and there was one with John McCain dressed like the old chick from Game of Thrones that just like that tell him I wanted it was me that murdered Jeffrey.
Yeah.
But it was tell Trump it was me.
What do you think about turnout, Clark? I mean, turnout was high, but that also meant there was a lot of votes for the. I mean, I think I know your answer to this because I'm sure we probably feel pretty similar about it. But like, 70 million voted for this dude.
The most Biden got the most presidential votes.
Well, I was talking about Trump. I mean, 70 million people still voted for Trump, even in what will likely be a loss.
The more media and accessible we are to each other, and the only thing we're talking about, motherfuckers gonna do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love how I was talking about this was just like all the people who had to move home from LA and New York. That's what I think that's more than anything might have gotten Biden this election. Motherfuckers going back to Arizona, motherfuckers going back to Georgia. Or to
and they've been in New York or LA or Chicago.
Like I'm here. I might as well vote. Shit. Like
it's not just that, they get probably a little more liberal point of view too, because they didn't get a chance to experience a multicultural environment.
Right. I'm sure it was a lot of flipping. I would love to see the numbers on that, on like new Democrats in North Carolina. Like, why is North Carolina even?
Yeah. Well, like, there's a lot of Republicans that voted for There's a lot of Republicans that vote. Like, so I think what this election is going to show is going to be a real obvious referendum on how people feel specifically about Donald Trump.
Right.
Because like they came into this, the House, the Democrats are going to lose like 10 seats or something. In the Senate,
I think it says 8.
I mean, still they losing seats in the House, right? They won in 2018. They obviously the narrative has been that this guy's a piece of shit, but like they're losing houses, they're losing seats in the House. They were talking about flipping the Senate. They're in a dog race to do that. They might get to 50-50 on that if they're lucky in a runoff, even though we all know that when Trump loses this election, all them Republicans are going to go down to Georgia and be like, we need to put a check on Biden. So that's going to be a fight.
I think that's a fight the Democrats are going to win, but
that's very optimistic. But
before you get to that, the thing about this postmortem on the Dems, I think the Dems overperformed in 2018, and some of the seats that we lost were seats that
they talked a lot of shit, dude. They came into this talking about they're going to flip state legislatures.
I understand they were being positive.
They not only did not flip state legislatures, they lost them.
Lauren Underwood was my representative here. Lauren Underwood, freshman Democrat, was my representative here. She lives like a subdivision over from me. And that bitch never had any business winning that shit. She won. It was like the year of the woman. Everybody was behind her. You know who she lost to? Jim Oberweis, the nigga that owns all the ice cream shops.
That ice cream is fire, though.
Ice cream is fire. He's from here. His family is from here. Like people,
that shit'll take me off the diet.
I went to high school with his daughter. Like people know that name. She didn't stand a fucking chance, and she barely lost. She lost by like literally the same numbers that Trump is getting his ass handed to him by.
We got a first transgender woman of color.
Yeah, I think we overperformed in 2018, and some of this was a natural take back of, we was feeling that, but we remember who the fuck we were.
Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was saying what I think that again proves is that there's a lot of people that were like, well, I'm not just going to be a Democrat, but I do hate this Trump motherfucker, right? Like they lost their gig. Mm-hmm. A lot of people had to move back. Like you said, a lot of people had to move back home and are like, well, now I'm going to vote for sure since I'm back home. And this motherfucker is the reason why. There's a lot of people that lost family. There's a lot of people who had their businesses fucked up and actually were smart enough to realize that it wasn't like Antifa's fault or black people's fault for getting killed.
The Pennsylvania mail-in vote from even Republican districts, Biden was dog walking this dude, man. Yeah. Like there were Republicans, and this is one of the reasons why Trump is going to get dragged out of the White House and he doesn't have anybody supporting him, is Republicans still did pretty well. So basically Republicans are looking around like, nah, nigga, they don't like you.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Us problem. They don't like you.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
we can just detach from your ass now.
Yeah.
One thing, and I ain't no political expert like on the science of it, but it feel like people, since I've been able to vote, like motherfuckers still having a lure to making history too. You know what I'm saying? Like even if you're on the other side of the fence, like there was something like people like, oh, I voted for the first Black woman vice president. And you have to be, I ain't gonna come at you, XL, but you gotta be pretty bad if don't nobody want to see that woman be president.
You ain't gotta come at me, man. Niggas still hate Hillary. I don't understand it. That bitch is baking cookies, and they still hate her.
I was just eating hot sauce. They talking about me. Lock her up.
Oh man.
I mean, that is true. They did not like her, and she did not do a good job of fixing that. And that is also,
she's not a likable chick, man. Like I'm sure people who know her love her and dig her, but she's not like somebody that like if she wasn't Hillary Clinton, if she was a motherfucking stand-up comic with that same personality, they'd be like, yeah, I did some rooms with her, but I don't really fuck around. Hung out with her like that.
I can't co-sign.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, as his term went on, white people turned real hard on Obama. But at the beginning, there are a lot of people when he was running, where they were just like, well, look, he's articulate. He probably ain't gonna fuck it up. You know what I mean? They're like, he seems like a decent dude. He loves his wife. He's got no scandals. Like, I can roll with it. You know what I mean? Like, even people that weren't into him could probably see that.
He knows the dog whistles too. That says like, yo, I'm not gonna fuck shit up.
Right.
There's little things I don't even catch.
I think that was a defining thing about Obama's presidency, and one of the things I'll defend about him forever, because as somebody, I know obviously as two other Black guys on the podcast, you feel that way, but for sure, as a guy who is Black and white, I definitely was sitting there like, yeah, we're gonna have to walk both sides of the fence on this one a little bit. I can't just be president and just be like, hey, if you Black, the doors is open. You gotta.
It's just a time and a place, man. Like at a certain point, as a dude, and then as a Black dude, my thoughts on social media about Kamala did not matter anymore. There was no time and place for it.
Right.
Because he made her vice president. Motherfuckers I respect, women I respect, look up to, and who I know are smart, felt something good about. Black women deserve to see themselves on that stage. So fuck all, she was a cop. Yes, I disagree. I think that the shit with she let Oscar Grant's killers walk is fucked up to me. But I don't have to make a post about this.
Right.
You need a post.
Yeah. Well, I think the reduction of the fact of reducing her down to she was a cop, I think really steals a lot from a lot of Black victims that she was actually able to be there for. There are a lot of Black people in California that she dealt with who said they would only speak to her. When you deal with nothing but white AGs every time, you know what I mean? Like, and you're a Black woman who's been victimized. You finally got a Black lady who's willing to let you even get some visibility. You know what I mean? Like that means a lot to Black women, period, or to Black victims, period. You know what I mean?
No matter how we feel about Obama, we had the person on the stage who motherfuckers could look at.
Right.
Everybody deserved it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think they deserve that now. I will say this, and this is one of the declarations I want to make today, is that I'll be excited for Biden to win, not because I wanted Biden, but because I really needed this cat out of here. I think the opportunity to like move the ball is better this way than the other way. But like, I got a 2-year deal left with the Democratic Party. That's how I feel right now. And I think Black people and like non-white people who are in the working class need to do the same thing. We need to put this is a 2-year deal. Hold on. I want to get through this. This office has This office has 2 years for me and then I'm going free agent. I'm not going to go Republican. I'm not going to go Libertarian, but I will push DSA or People's Party or somebody different after this next 2 years. And I know, and I'm not just talking about, like, I get that there's Republicans who will try and block shit if they don't win. I understand all that. Fuck all that. Like, I need to see some commitment to, if they come out after this election and start pushing that we're going to move to the center shit to appease Republicans, I'm gone at the midterms, y'all. I'm not doing this again where you're going to play like this isn't, we needed to get Trump out, but like the placating of like the needs of the Black working class and the Hispanic working class, and honestly the white working class too, like the like avoidment of that because we're afraid to hold companies to fucking taxes and shit ain't flying for me after this.
Here's the good news. Here's the good news. I don't think that that's the route they're going to go, because there's never, this entire election, the narrative has been Black women carry the Democratic Party. Black votes, Black women specifically. And Black women and Black people are Georgia. It's Georgia, Philadelphia. All they was basically just shy of saying, these niggas are voting him out. But like, it was all Black areas that were in those two states that well, not all, but mostly Black areas in those two states that put Biden over. He has a debt to the Black community. So I can't imagine that they're not going to make that part of their agenda. I am concerned about Georgia, but if they make Georgia, by the way, I was going to say, this is the time, Ice Cube, this is the time to negotiate, nigga. Because we need those 2 Senate seats. So this is the time to negotiate, my nigga. You're going to negotiate. This is the time to negotiate. Take your ass down to Atlanta, write a motherfucking movie, and hire a bunch of niggas and get these 2 Senate seats popping. Get people to the polls January 4th. This is the time to negotiate.
It's too late for Cube, man. Donald Glover got to come out and be like, "This is."
He got some hot shit coming. He just tweeted something. He got some hot shit coming.
Yeah, I want to see Donald Glover's platinum plan.
That's the one I'm looking for. I
want to see Karachi plan. He got what anime-based plan Donald Glover come out with. This is the GOOOO experience.
Speaking of some celebrities who are dealing with some shit, man, Steve Bannon finally got kicked off Twitter. That's some good shit. Forever. Permanent ban.
That was a nice transition from Ice Cube to Steve Bannon, because Ice Cube's business partners is homies with Steve Bannon.
Yeah. Well, you know what he got kicked off Twitter for finally?
Yeah.
He said he was gonna. He said that Anthony Fauci and Christopher Wray should be beheaded.
Yeah. He said motherfuckers who don't get down, and they should leave the head in like it's a royal court, like they should have it in the lobby of the White House so motherfuckers can see what happened. Now, this is how white privilege works. That motherfucker's on parole. This motherfucker just got out the joint, and he talking about, we need to knock heads off. So people
know. Shit.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Yeah, he is. Well, then he probably shouldn't be on Twitter anymore. That's a good spot for him to be gone from. Speaking of being gone for stuff, from guys being gone from stuff that for some different reasons. Johnny Depp is out as Grindelwald in Fantastic Beasts. He is also out. The Amber Heard shit is wild, man. I don't even know the whole story, but at one point he was accused of hitting her, and then she was accused of hitting him.
And Dookie in the bed.
Dookie in the bed. Who's Dookie in the bed on somebody?
In the bed part. Whoa.
Yeah.
I haven't even said Dookie since like Green Day. That was the earliest Dookie reference I got.
Yeah, they straight like. Shouldn't he know? But this is Johnny Depp, man. Ain't you supposed to know better, dog?
In London, where they said a defamation case, like
a defecation case.
Defecation case. Yeah, this is a defecation case. She defecated.
I said defamation, not defamation.
No, I know, but she shit in the bed, so.
Wow, man.
Good catch.
Yeah. Last thing I want to talk about before we get out of here, because I know we're going to love talking about this. The NBA seems to have agreed to a return in December, which is good because there ain't no type of sports I watch on television right now.
You know the funniest shit about this is my son comes in the room. He's like, this is weird.
Daddy.
Hey, Daddy. He's like, I think I learned that the NBA season was back the exact same time Zach LaVine did, because while I was looking at the tweet about the league being back, Zach LaVine's first tweet was like, "Oh wow, we're back!" Like, hey, you didn't know? Like, your agent didn't contact you? What kind of people you got working for you, man?
Motherfucker, this is about to be the third NBA season this year, and I'm tired. I scrubbed my whole timeline of LeBron hate. I'm tired.
Hey, we get more bubble machine. Well, it won't be bubble machine anymore.
I don't know what it's gonna be.
Yeah, like, this is not a bubble.
This is our fourth. We're gonna have 4 All-Star games. I'm tired. Okay, he's not better than Jordan. Like, how many times?
I know.
I'm good on basketball till like April.
If I was LeBron, I wouldn't want to be playing this quick either, because it's like you in your mid-30s, dog. You need to hold this off as long as possible.
Man, his hairpiece probably ain't even ready yet.
How you get to only celebrate an NBA championship for 2 weeks?
Right? You got to be back in the gym.
How you not to even get a chance to celebrate it? You ain't no parade, no. Like, that's got to be part of the deal. Like,
Rondo braids got to grow out a little bit. Like,
they got to find J.R. Smith. Where the fuck is?
Gotta go down to Mexico and find J.R. Smith.
Shorty from Dallas, his ankles got to heal. Like
yeah, man. They should have given him just a half trophy for last year. They should have given like a miniature version, like one.
They had like a 3D asterisk on the trophy. That would be... Instead of
the MVP award being Bill Russell Award, it's the Robert Horry.
Yeah, we're gonna give you the Robert Horry trophy.
It'll be the Nipsey Russell Award.
Hey man, where can people find you online, man? What's your social media? Where's your podcast at?
At the Clark Jones, THEE Clark Jones. DMs is open. Anybody who sees that they like. The podcast is still going, man. I just like mentally and emotionally. I'm doing the Clark World series right now. I just had my grandmother on that. So I'm really finding people who have always been close to me and getting them on the show. And really, I'm trying to get through this year still.
Yeah. I think we all are. We all are, man.
Follow me on everything, y'all.
Yeah, find them everywhere. XL, where can people find you?
Boom.
XL right there, XL Comedy.
Right there. That's on the IG. That's on the IG, the Twitters, all that shit. XL Comedy with an ad in front of it. Boom.
Clark, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. We really appreciate it. You can find me at Mocha_Jesus. You can find People of Comedy at People of Comedy or at People of Comedy Network. Make sure you get to go Solar Masters. Drop in a referral for somebody in Illinois who owns a house. Get some solar on your roof before this year is over. Maybe in the next year too. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We are out of here. That's it from us. We still have no election winner yet, but that's what's up.
Calling. High school, you was that nigga. Now you falling.
Hey, man, thanks, bro.
I'ma zigzag through the gang like go smoking on trees. Niggas won't work with us, they pay a fee. Diamonds, they smell sand cheese. Can't find too many better than me. All about getting cheddar and D. Guala, mozzarella, parmesan cheese. Say you ballin', but not in my league. Say you ballin', but not in my league. Yeah, whole lot of niggas changed since we came up. They could try to steal the moves, but they ain't us.